What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mikey Hot Takes, serving up hot takes like they're hot cakes. And before I get into this eulogy of a video, I want you to hit subscribe. I want you to hit like, because we're going to get through this season one way or another. And if you're a Knicks fan, we're going to get there even sooner, okay? But make sure you're liked, make sure you're subscribed, and that's all I have to say about that, all right? But for now, the Giants lose 24-3 to the Seattle Seahawks at home. And I know if you're watching this video, you saw the game, okay? And I don't want to break down every nook and cranny of the game, but we're going to get into some of it, all right? Let me address the elephant in the room first. This is a Daniel Jones channel. My best video on this channel, you can go back and look to this point, my best video, which we're going to do better than that. We're going to do better than that, and you just wait. We will do better than that. But for now, my best video on this channel was the Daniel Jones video, and I was pretty much praising him. Last year, he played pretty much immaculately most of the time. He wasn't getting a ton of help last year either. He was getting better blocking than he got tonight, I'll tell you that. But at the very least, he wasn't turning it over. He wasn't making some terrible throws like he did tonight. He wasn't getting strip sacked from behind like he did tonight. But the elephant in the room is Daniel Jones bad? And I got to tell you, am I out on Daniel Jones? No. Am I a flip-flopper like that? Absolutely not. But we are at the point where this team is so bad now that you can't rule out moving on at any stretch. You really can't. Brian Daboll tonight, listen, everyone's going to point out tomorrow. Listen, it'll be real easy for everyone to point out Brian Daboll shitting on Daniel Jones on the sidelines tomorrow night. Okay? He did that week 1 last year, if you remember, when he threw a bad pick in the red zone. He did that again tonight. This time resulted in a pick 6. Devin Witherspoon looked like a stud tonight, looked like someone who did this film study. The rest of the Giants did not. Devin Witherspoon was the best player on the field. It wasn't even close. He was the best pass rusher. He was the best corner. He was the best everything on the field for the Seahawks. But at the same time, Daniel Jones did not play well tonight by any stretch. He was horrible. His numbers, honestly, when he was only making throws that he could make. And the 2 throws he didn't make were picks, one of them being a pick 6. You could throw the whole game on Daniel Jones if you want to. That's fine. You won't hear me complaining or going to bat for him all that hard this week. Okay? It might be over for him. It might be over for him. It really might be. Like, this team does not look capable of winning more than 4 to 5 games. It really doesn't. And he could throw for 300 yards, and I still don't feel like they're going to win any other game. The fact of the matter is the Seattle Seahawks are not a great defensive team. All right, I've been waiting for this game because, all right, Arizona's bad. Everyone says Arizona's bad. They beat Dallas, no big deal. Arizona's bad. Okay, throw that game out the window. You played Dallas and San Francisco. Okay? Those are 2 great teams. We make excuses for that. I personally would even just, in my head, I was throwing that out the window. I said those 2 teams are just too much for us in the trenches. But tonight, Seattle, a team that you're supposed to be head-to-head with, a team that you played closer just last year, you get bodied 24-3. It's over, all right? I'm thinking about Marvin Harrison Jr. and trade downs for more picks. I'm thinking about, listen, Daniel Jones, you want to come at me in the comments, say, ha, you think Daniel Jones was good and now he sucks? Fine. Now is your time to do it. I still think if you put him on a better team, he wouldn't look this bad by any stretch. I mean, it doesn't take a brain genius. It doesn't take a surgeon. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, all of that. It doesn't take the smartest person in your family to realize that the guy was under pressure again against an average defense. He has Josh Azudu playing left tackle in his 4th start because Andrew Thomas is hurt. Evan Neal is one of the worst draft. Evan Neal is approaching worse than Eric Flowers territory. Shout out to Esteban. Said it in one of the live streams. Evan Neal is one of the worst draft picks I can remember already. And I'm not throwing it all on him. Everybody stinks. Everybody stinks. It's hard for me to even single one person out. You could say, Mike, the defense played really well. Fine. The defense played really well in a way. Okay? In a way. To me, Seattle couldn't get out of their own way. Seattle had a ton of holding penalties. And Mike, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. The Giants weren't making their presence felt consistently on defense either to me. They didn't look like an imposing defense to me. It's not something we're going to hang our hat on. If you're a smart football fan, you're not going to hang your hat on the Giants' defensive performance. Oh, the defense played well. All right, fine. If you look at the numbers, fine. The defense played well. That defense did not look like an imposing defense. Didn't look like one of the good defenses in the NFL. At best, they were mediocre tonight. And that could have been good enough to win if the offense was at best mediocre, and they were not. Tough realization. Tough realization. Like, this is not a good team. Anywhere. Thomas McGahee. Is that even how you say your name? McGahee? I don't even know. Willis McGahee's uncle Thomas needs to get fired. He needs to be working at Stop and Shop. And I am not the guy to, trust me. If I'm telling you need to get fired, it's time. Okay? They need to do that before Brian Daboll finished his speech, which I waited for before I made this video. Thomas McGahee, the special teams coordinator, needs to be fired immediately. How many syllables is that? Count it for me. Put it in the comments. Receivers, nobody played well. Darren Waller, anonymous. You can blame Jones, fine. But Jones played one of his worst games of his career tonight. That's absolutely fine. Throw him under the bus. He's not good. He's not all that. You could say that tonight, and I have to listen to it. That's absolutely fine. But then when are we going to address the other 20 positions on the field? Special teams, you cannot perform a punt or a punt return without committing a penalty. You just can't. Like, the whole night. Or a kick return. Graham Gano should start booting 70-yarders. That's the only way the Giants are going to start scoring. And they probably will get called back for a holding penalty. Or it'll get blocked in return for a touchdown like week 1. Guys, this is bad. And I'm going to be bringing you every game. I'm going to be doing more videos like this. As you can see, we're up in the production quality. We're trying to get better things. Maybe a new camera on the horizon, who knows. But for now, this Giants team is not the reason you watch football every week. If anything, I'm happy they played on Monday night, because if they played at 1 o'clock yesterday, I just wouldn't have been able to watch the actual good football that was played. Shout out to the Jet fans. You guys must be feeling much better about yourself today. This is the first time in a long time, long time, where I feel like the Jets are in a better spot than the Giants. Is that saying that much? No. But the Jets at least have ballers in areas. Name one baller on the Giants right now. Name one guy. I don't care what the grades say. I don't care what the film nerds say tomorrow. I really don't. Not one player played well for the Giants. Not a single one. I don't care if John Michael Schmitz got hurt. That's big. Starting center got hurt. I'm pretty sure he didn't get hurt his whole career in Minnesota. So that's the Giants' luck. What else happened? First drive of the game, when you can't convert a 4th and 1 on QB sneak, and they show that graphic, Daniel Jones, 18 of 18 in his career on 4th and 1, you just know he's not converting that. He doesn't. They stuff it. None of the O-line. Right away, you could see from that play, if you know football, if you watch that 4th and 1 in the first quarter that the Giants don't convert, every single defensive lineman for Seattle, their pad level was below the Giants' offensive line. Every single one of them. It's one thing if the center just got blown up. Okay, fine. You could look at. Go back and look at it. Nobody on this team performed well. Not a single one. Throw Jones under the bus. Fine. All the other plays, special teams penalties, flags, personal fouls after the play, just being undisciplined after, playing like spoiled babies when you don't make a play, complaining, throwing the offensive lineman around, just horrible. Starts with Brian Daboll. I don't care. If you're naming my top 3 reasons the Giants lost, I'm starting with Brian Daboll, because not one unit looks really good. All right, Wink Martindale might bail him out a little bit on the defense, because at least they look, capable of making a play here or there. But the offense, horrible. It looks like Brian Daboll is calling the plays, by the way. I don't care what anybody says, what he says, what Kafka says, what Daniel Jones says. Brian Daboll was calling plays that entire game. I didn't like his play calling. I didn't. Maybe he doesn't trust Jones anymore. If that's the case, he should have spoke up in the offseason. Well, we would have had to respect what he said. Maybe we could have drafted anyone, traded for someone. If the coach is bailing out on the QB this quickly, then I blame the coach, not the QB. If they would have bailed on him in the offseason, would I have ranted and raved? Absolutely. But at least there could have been some type of justified decision at this point. Now you see Daboll looking to just throw Jones under the fire. What about the rest of the team? If the rest of the team was firing, you could say, oh, the defense played well, Mike. The defense was fine. Seattle did barely have the try. Drew Lock was playing in the second quarter because Seattle didn't need to rush Geno out there. Against a good team, Geno's probably getting rushed back out there. So, horrible team. Mike, Jones isn't good. What about your last video? Put Jones on another team. He's a top 15 to 10 quarterback. I really do believe that. Switch him with Kirk Cousins. Switch him. With the running ability, with Justin Jefferson, I guarantee you Minnesota at least has 1 to 2 wins right now, and they're in a fight. Giants are in the NFC East. Jones probably isn't good enough to carry a team in this current NFC East. That might be a fact. That might be a realization that we're just going to have to come to terms with. That being said, I'm not in the game of just hunting quarterbacks my whole life. I just am not. Oh, like I know it's fun to just like mock draft quarterback. If one falls to your lap, you take them. If you love one, you take one. But you just gave this guy $40 million. You once again, not one player on the offense is going to bat for him to the point. It looked like Paul Crewe against the guards. It looked like when Paul Crewe was fixing the game and the O-line found out for the meme machine. That's what it looked like. No one blocking for him. 10 sacks. Unbelievable. And you know what? This is just a repeat, like a vicious cycle. And every week, Giant fans will turn around and say, this week's different. Seattle's different. Blah, 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 blah. No, the personnel of the Giants is not changing. No one is just waking up and becoming a Hall of Fame player. On the offensive line, on the outside, Daniel Jones, maybe at best he's mediocre. Maybe I oversighted it. But I know one thing. Confidence for a QB is very important. Jet fans know about this. Zach Wilson had a little bit of time last night. Chiefs weren't blitzing that much. And Zach Wilson was making some nice throws, making some nice plays. Tonight, Seattle was just rushing the shit out of Daniel Jones, and they knew they were going to get to him as soon as they could. And that is the word against the Giants for the remainder of the season. Andrew Thomas can come back. He better be on it 100%. Saquon Barkley, to me, he's a trade candidate. He is. Not breaking news, but he's going to get traded. Because the Giants are not going to beat Miami next week. As optimistic in my life as I could possibly be, they are not beating Miami. They are not beating Buffalo. But make sure you tune in to the next 2 streams. I'm going to keep it light. These videos are going to be the serious meat and potatoes, but the streams are the hangouts. The rest of the season, we're going to watch the games because we watch every Giant game no matter what. But we're not going to take them that seriously anymore. We can't. We're in mock draft mode in October. It's not even the first. It's the second day of October, guys, when I'm recording this video. Probably the 3rd or 4th when you're watching this. It's just not. This team is not it. You guys already know that. But at the same time, in week 4, you shouldn't know that for a fact. After winning a playoff game the previous season, after having the coach of the year, after giving your quarterback $40 million, after having 2 first-round picks last year, they should be better. They should be affecting the game. Kayvon Thibodeau, 2 sacks, big whoop. All right, 2 tackles. Defense was fine, Mike. Defense was fine. I get it. Defense was fine. It's a week after week thing for me. It's not just one game. They haven't been competitive in any half besides one in Arizona, which needs to get investigated. I tweeted this out. That half in Arizona had to be a tank job. Had to be. How did it happen? How does it exist? What was Arizona doing defensively in that second half that the Giants were able to score that many points? Because it looks like a mirage. It looks like something in the desert. It looks like a canteen in the desert or a water cooler in the desert. That 30-point half or whatever Daniel Jones did in Arizona. Because otherwise, this is a clean 0-4. Start Tyrod Taylor, bench everyone else, trade Saquon, trade Andrew Thomas. That's what we're looking at. And it's not far away either way. You go to Miami next week, you're going to be like 10 to 12-point dogs, and that's being generous. It might be 2 touchdowns. After the last 4 weeks, it might be 2 touchdowns against Miami. How are you going to guard Tyreek Hill? How's that happening? You're not. So that's it. This might be a long-winded video, but it's been a minute. So you guys deserve it. This might be the longest video of the season because how much more will there be to talk about? You can listen. I know we love the Giants, guys. I hate to be negative, but it is what it is. It's 24-3. You score no points at home against Seattle Seahawks. Not by any stretch of the imagination a Super Bowl contender this year. So it's just down bad. I'm thinking about Marvin Harrison Jr. And if I'm thinking about mock draft in October, that's really bad because I really don't care about that. So until next time, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I appreciate it. Leave a comment. What do you guys think? What did you guys think was the biggest problem for this game? Obviously, Daniel Jones is going to be up there for you. The coaching, special teams, those are some of the big candidates. Daniel Jones is probably going to get thrown under the bus, and that's fine. This is his worst performance, and I'm dying for him to just at least have a pulse in a primetime game, and he hasn't had it once against any opponent. So it is what it is. Until next time, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Peace.